hooligan, foolish buffoonery. This ain't new to me. King on my witness to stew with me. Keep the two with me. Since youngest kept us some toolery. Do this shit for Justin. Remember he used to skip school with me. Get a couple packs. Rolling up a gas and smoking in a Cadillac. We was freestyling, chilling. It was full of laughs and energy. Niggas wasn't feeling us, but fuck it, we won't worry about the enemies. Little did I know the Reaper come and take my friend from me. Niggas all on Twitter talking hard and trying to diss the team. They don't even know who's sliding on them, what they really mean. And I'm from the north, they be like, oh, chili beans. Been the wrong corner, you might run into like 50 beans. So much gun smoke, you think I'm trying to let a chicken steam. And I love a shorty give me dome, cause it be really mean. Niggas trying to come for me and mine, and I'm a clear the scene. This that winter breeze in the pores decapitate the top. It's Qualito mode, yeah, this shit been activated now. You ain't activated, and I'm getting aggravated now. I had half the patience, now I ain't really having patience now. Anytime I'm feeling stressed, feel like I have to blaze the lie. I'm so legendary at this point, I have to chase the top. And I'm feeling like my destiny has always been prophesized. Any situation that I'm in, I'll always optimize. So that mean I gotta win, so that mean I gotta rise. Mean I gotta overcome, then that mean I gotta grind. I'm soaking in energy from every star inside the sky. Stare into my pupils, see the universe inside my eyes.
Hey, y'all, we're here. Even though I'm acting a fool, we are here for a serious topic today. We are talking about fibroids. And this green screen is trying to leak into every piece of blue or green I have on. But we're going to go with it. So backstage, I have another nurse, and what's I feel like special about the two of us is that she had just gone through the uterine fibroid thing, and I went through it over a decade ago. So it's like we got two different perspectives in the time periods and things like that. But unfortunately, you know, the healthcare disparities are gonna be there. Y'all go make sure you download now included. It takes less than a minute to join. If you look in my link tree, ET Uncut, you will be able to see the link to go over to now included and join. Also join my community over there. The reality of healthcare. I'm gonna start doing some giveaways. I have different options over there for if you become an ambassador under me. I got different incentives and things over there that you can get by just inviting people over to the app to tell their stories. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my girl T. That's why I played the reality conversations uncut opening, because my girl T is here with me, and we're gonna break down and discuss fibroids.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm happy to be here today.
Girl, you know, I usually be just getting up out of bed right now. So I've been up for like 2.5 hours.
And I'm normally at work right now.
Mm-hmm. So let me see. Hey, Pot. Okay, y'all. So I want to start off by giving some, you know, brief introductory information on fibroids. So these are 8 facts about fibroid tumors that every woman should know. One, as I was saying on Instagram, you are not alone. 80% of women is going to experience fibroids at some time. You know, there's difference in severity of cases, and things like that. There's only one kind of uterine fibroid. Fibroids comes in different shapes and sizes. Fibroids may or may not cause symptoms. We recommend diagnostic studies to confirm the diagnosis and further evaluate your fibroids. That's number 5. Number 6, experts still don't know the cause of fibroids. There has been many things blamed over the years for causing fibroids. And they're still not quite sure why they form. Um, fibro growth pattern. That's one of those things that is crazy. Sometimes they grow very, very slow, and it's a gradual process. Mine, for some reason, went in the overdrive, and at the end of my whole fibroid situation, and it started growing rapidly, like it was an infant in my uterus. You know what I'm saying? A hysterectomy is not the only option for treating fibroids, y'all. But it was my option, and I'm go ahead and go. So yeah, like I was telling people, there was a bill introduced to Congress back in 2007. Representative Stephanie Tubb Jones of Iowa, she wanted a bill passed about fibroids. Because Black women are at increased risk of the disease compared to white women. Let me see, is there anything else I want to get in there? I do want to mention over on Instagram, there is an advocacy group called the White Dress Project, and I actually love their content. And I love how they give you tips and stuff for living with fibroids, because it's a lot to deal with. So the first version of the bill wasn't passed. The 117th Congress, the bill was renamed Stephanie Tubb Jones Uterine Fibroid and Education Act of 2001. And I'm trying to see. But in 2009, Fibroid just received $17 million in funding, and that's nothing. That's really nothing as far as research. That's not even salaries. So you want to go ahead and tell your experience first, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, yeah, I don't mind going first. As Niecy was saying, there is more than one option for fibroids. Thus, me right here and now. My official journey started in 2015. I am 45 years old, and I didn't start having major problems until I was about 36. I started my cycle early, and they do say that if you are a woman that starts your cycle early, that could be a pre-factor to having fibroids. So I started at 10.
Wow.
Right when I got out of fourth grade this summer. I got my birthday's in May, and school had finished, and then that's in between May, I'm not for sure, June, July, I started my cycle. My mom was terrified because she was born in the 60s. And at that time, well, she was born in 1960. So at that time, you did not have, young women did not have their cycles until they were actually in teenage years, like
Mhm.
14, 15. So with me being 10, yeah, I was about in the fifth grade. Yeah. She was like what? And she had always told me about a cycle, probably since I was 7 or 8. So when I got it, I knew what it was, but I didn't know anything about ages that you should get it, or that it was early for me or whatever. So she actually ended up taking me to a gynecologist, and by that time it wasn't too early. It was that's approximately 10 to 12. If you are a 70 to early 80s baby. Or I'll say, yeah, 70s, from 70s to 80s, 10 to 12 is a normal age for your child to start their menstrual. And so for what I knew, I felt like my cycle was normal. It came every month. I can't say if it was heavy or not. during that time. I didn't know the difference. I don't even think I had menstrual cramps during my teenage years. I didn't actually start, that I can remember, start having cramps until I had completed having my 3 children. And then I started having cramps, and it was treatable with just maybe 400 to 600 milligrams of ibuprofen. And that was it. For me, my cycle always lasted 7 days. I've never had a short or 3 to 5 day cycle. And I call that short for me because it's always lasted for 7 days. And so I went all through my 30s. All through my 20s, and then midway through my 30s, I had experienced an occurrence of breakthrough bleeding, and it wasn't, or spotting. I'll say it was spotting because it wasn't bleeding. So I had went to my primary care provider because, guys, I do want you to know that your pap smears can be normal and that you still can have some issues going on. And if your pap smears are normal and you're generally healthy, and you're fit, because this is me. This is my body 3 years of having hormones and steroids. Just 3 years ago, I did not look like this. And that's fine. I'm not knocking myself. I'm okay. It's gonna get better.
Oh, but you still beautiful. What are you talking about?
I'm just not. This is the biggest I've ever been my whole life. I mean, I have had weight fluctuations, but my face has never looked like this. I've never had a double chin. The only time I've had a wide nose is when I was pregnant, and even still, I never had a double chin. But it's okay. I'm healthy and I'm grateful. I'm alive, so I'm not gonna harp on that. So we fast forward. Like I said, I was going to my primary care, and this is what I want you to know, ladies. You can't have your primary care do your pap smears, but I would recommend that if you are of age, just have a gynecologist, because my pap smears always came back normal. When I did start having problems in my mid-30s, initially my primary care did not take me serious. So I had experienced excuse me, I had experienced an episode of breakthrough bleeding, spotting, not bleeding. I'm sorry. There is a difference between bleeding and spotting. Bleeding is continuous. Spotting is just you wipe yourself and you have a spot there. And so I went to, but I had never had that before, so I was scared. I never had that instance in between cycles where I would wipe myself and there was any type of blood. And it wasn't bright red or dark red. It was a bright pink, but it was still abnormal for me. So I went to my primary care, who I told him that I had some breakthrough spotting. He ordered a pelvic ultrasound, which was normal. On their end, it was normal. And so, you're fine. I'm like, okay. So then a few months passed by, and I had another episode of spotting, and it was still again pink. So I was like, what in the world? But I'm in my mid-30s by this time. I'm like 36, 37. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. So I did ask to have a hormone level check. I don't know a lot about my family history. So what Niecy is saying about go to the website and sign up, because when I say my family history, my mother died, and I have a necklace with my mother. My mother died at 36 from something totally unrelated, and her mother died at 38. So I never knew my grandmother, and then my mom died when I was 20. My mother was a teenage mom, and she died when I was 20. So, of course, in the 80s and 90s, your moms didn't talk a lot about their history. They may have told you the facts of life, told you about cycles, told you about boys, but they didn't speak a lot about their own personal history, because I feel like we probably didn't even know how detrimental it is to know what your family genetics is. So I didn't know anything about my mother's cycle, and I didn't know anything about my grandmother's cycle on my mother's side. So I just didn't feel like my primary care provider took me serious enough, because, like I said, I was super fit. Appropriate weight, appropriate height, lab levels were fine, and I was just having minimal discomfort at that time. So from the time I was 36 until the time I was 40, my cycles became so horrid, guys. So I didn't have problems early on. So this condition can attack you at any age.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my story is unique because I didn't start until I was almost 40 before I started having the most intense, the most excruciating cramps that it kept me up at night. So this is where the weight gain comes in. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I have great health care. I'm not going to go to a primary care, even though my pap smears were normal. I'm going to go to a gynecologist because I want someone that specializes in it. Well, that was kind of like a catch-22 because my gynecologist was my age. He was a male. He was great. He listened to me. But because on the outside, I was fit. I was appropriate weight with my height. He could tell that I worked out. He could tell that I ate well. So on the outside, I looked great. My iron was a little low. Always been anemic, but not low enough. It wasn't an 8. It wasn't a 7 to where I needed a blood transfusion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a high tolerance for pain, I still went to work. And that's one of the things about possibly the other treatments outside of hormones is when you have a disrupt in your quality of life, you have to stay out of work. You have to get on narcotics for pain. I didn't have that because I have a high pain tolerance. So I was still able to go to work, still worked out, still came in cheerful, happy. So in my labs, like I said, my iron was just a little low. It was probably like a 10 when it should be like 14, 15. It was like a 10. It wasn't to where you can just treat that with iron pills. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to stop your cycle. So the first thing you did was put me on birth control pills. That's hormones, guys. And so it didn't work. When I first started, I bled the whole month, because your body, give it 3 months. First of all, if you're already having really bad cycles and you have pain with your cycles, and then somebody gives you something that makes you have a cycle continuously, that pain is going to be there continuously because your uterus is continuously contracting. And my pain was a 10. 10 out of 10 is what we say. Worst imaginable. I could not sleep. My pain would wake me up. I've had friends, coworkers, they're like, girl, yes, I know how you feel. All I could do was sleep. When my cycle came on, well, honey, I can't even sleep. The pain was like literally like labor contractions. I would wake up out of my sleep. Get a hot.
Didn't you try IUD also?
I tried everything. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So I tried birth control. Well, that's what I'm about to tell y'all. First time I tried birth control pills. So I went back to my provider. Like I said, he's my age. He's fit. He's like, yeah, Tasha, we're gonna knock this out of the box. We got this. We're gonna try this. So we tried generic. So then after we tried the generic brand, he was like, well, you know what? Sometimes the generic brands of hormone pills, birth control, has additives in them because they're generic. Let's give you the name brand, which is the trade name, guys. So he gave me you can get, in case you didn't know, guys, your providers can give you samples up to 3 months where you don't even have to file it on your insurance. And they can also, if you have to take a name brand prescription, no matter what it is, doesn't have to be birth control, in any category, cardiology, urology, whatever type of medication, your providers can give you a pharmacy card. And you can get a discount on your medications. So he said, well, let's try you with the trade name because your body probably is rejecting the generic. Mind you, every time I'm going to the doctor, I'm 5 pounds up, I'm 7 pounds up, I'm 6 pounds up, I'm 2 pounds up. So we went from the generic to the trade name. That didn't work. Oh, you know what? I think is going to be good for you? Because again, every time I'm going to the gynecologist, my weight is going up. And I'm like, wait a minute here. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. So he's like, okay, let's give you something that's not as hormonal. So we went with the Nuvaring. And you switch that out. I can't remember. I think it was every 5 or 7 days. So we went with the Nuvaring. excuse me. When I tell you that Nuvaring gave me the absolute worst cramps, almost pretty much worse than what I was already going through during the day. Like, just I'm at work walking to get a patient and I'm having to bend over in pain because it's like, what is this? It was contracting my uterine. So the hormones go directly to your uterus if it's inserted vaginally. And that's what he was trying to do, because his goal was, I'm sorry, I didn't explain it to you guys. My gynecologist's goal was to stop my cycle completely, because if you stop my cycle, then I won't have that excruciating pain. And I forgot to add that we did do a pelvic ultrasound. I did have fibroids, but he told me that they were not big enough that he wanted to treat them, meaning I wasn't going to get no hysterectomy. He didn't want to do an ablation. He didn't want to do anything to break them up. An ablation is what Niecy was saying. You can do other treatments besides a hysterectomy, which is an ablation. You can do a myomectomy, and you can do hormones. And at that time, I had the fibroids, but he didn't want to do either of those. It's outside of just the hormones. So we did the Nuvaring. That didn't work. Now we are a year and a half.
Depot?
No.
Okay.
So we were a year and a half into my hormone journey to figure out what was going to help me stop or regulate my cycles. So we had did 2 different types of birth controls, generic and trade name, and then we did the Nuvaring. So after the Nuvaring, he says, you know what, Tasha? And this is like 25 pounds more now. I'm 25 pounds more now. I wish I knew how to insert pictures, guys. I am not lying. This is literally 3 years worth of weight gain from hormones. So after we did that, we did the IUD, but what was it called?
I forgot what that was called.
I was about to say the Moderna, but anyways.
It wasn't the Moderna.
Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. Anyways, we did the IUD. Gosh, I don't know why I can't think of the name. Because guess what, guys? We put the IUD in September of that year, 2019. We put the IUD in. Mirena. That's what it is. That's why I was thinking Moderna, because they both have M's. So we did the Mirena. He's like, you know what, Tasha, we're gonna do the Mirena. It's gonna go straight to your uterus, and it's low hormone, so you don't have to worry about the side effects of weight gain, crampiness, moodiness, whatever. So I was like, okay, yes. And my boyfriend at the time was like, yes, because I was moody AF. Honey, let me tell you, I got that Mirena in, and I was a terror. I don't know what they're talking about, low hormones. And he could tell you, he would still tell you, because we're still cool right now. I was a terror. So I had the Mirena in for 3 months, guys, from September to December. I want you to know that Mirena expelled itself.
Your body said, I ain't having it.
Right. My body does not like hormones at all. I was in a bathroom, using the bathroom, and something said, ploop. I was like, what the hell? And I looked, it was a big ass blood clot, guys. Excuse my language. It was a big blood clot, and it was the Mirena. I was mortified. And mind you, during that whole time, no, if you're asking, well, did the Mirena help? It did not. But he told me, Tasha, give it 3 months. And I love my provider. My gynecologist, he was really nice. And I say that because he listened to me. He didn't say, well, give it 3 months and give it 3 more months. Every time I told him it didn't work, he did try to come up with a different idea. But guess what, guys? The different ideas, mind you, the Mirena was the 4th one. 2 different types of birth control, Nuvaring and non-Mirena. Listen to me, sir. We need to go to something that's probably going to be radical, which would be a hysterectomy. I done gained 45, 50 pounds by this time.
Okay, somebody asked what time frame was this? Like, you going up in weight and stuff with the different treatments?
It went for 2 years. For 2 years, because by the time I got the Mirena, let me see, Wait a minute. No, we started in 2015. By the time I got to Mirena, it was in 2018. So this was 3 years because you know what, guys? After I got off the Nuvaring, I refused to go on any type of birth control. So I probably went about 6 to 8 months after the Nuvaring, which was the third one, and I didn't do anything. But I just my pain was just so excruciating, and if you, in case you're wondering what I was taking for pain, I was only taking 800 milligrams of Motrin, 4 times a day, and I could take Tylenol in between for breakthrough pain, but Tylenol never touched my pain. Narcotics, they don't work well with me. I don't do well with any type of narcotics. Plus, I'm a very outgoing, active person, and I don't like to. For me, they somber my personality, make me have a flat affect. So I don't like it. So by the end of 2018 is when we were doing the Mirena. And the Mirena expelled itself. So in the beginning of 2019, he says, oh, that happens sometimes. And I read up on it, and it does, because once it came out, I was bleeding profusely. I didn't know if I was going to need to go to the hospital because I was bleeding a lot, guys, after the Mirena expelled itself. So I'm messaging him, and he was like, oh, yeah, that happens sometimes. We'll just reinsert it because it happens. So he was like, we'll reinsert it. So they had scheduled me an appointment for February 2019 to reinsert it. So I went in the office. My boyfriend was with me. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna just put it right back in. So while we were in the office, and my provider anyways, he did it by pelvic ultrasound. Some providers, gynecologist or nurse practitioner, gynecologist, and I think a primary care provider can do it as well. They go blind, and that's why sometimes it doesn't attach to your uterine walls. But my provider does it through a pelvic ultrasound, so he knows exactly where the placement is. Y'all, while I'm in the office, he's putting the second Mirena in. It expels itself right then and there. He put it in.
Like, no.
Right. He freaked out. He didn't even mean to do it. He was like, oh my God. He was like, I've never seen that happen before. And I'm thinking, dude, you're my age. He's like 40. How would you see it? He's like 41 at that time, 42. How would you have ever seen it in your life? You ain't even been a practitioner for so long. But anyways, he said, I never seen that happen before. He's like, no, we're not doing this. He was like, your body don't want it. It's rejecting it. So I was like, okay. I ain't trying to force you to put nothing in me that shouldn't be there. So 2 types of birth control, Mirena, because we tried it twice. 6 was the patch, the birth control patch. He still would not go to any. He still didn't try ablation, myectomy. He still was like, yo, fibroids is not big enough to treat, and you're not having a loss of quality of life. But I was, guys. I was depressed. I was gaining weight. I didn't feel like myself.
The pain is enough.
I was in pain. My mood was all over the place for all of those different hormones. So finally, the 6th birth control was the birth control patch. And I tried that from January, February of that year until May or June of that year, and it was just nonstop bleeding. I couldn't have no type of, and thank God I had a good Christian boyfriend, because he didn't make me feel bad or any type of way, because I bled so much throughout the course of our relationship, because I was on so many different types of birth control. And by the time we actually stopped dating, which had nothing to do with that, I was like 45 pounds heavier, guys. 45, 50 pounds heavier from the time we started until the time I stopped. So I got off birth control completely. I was like, I'm just not going to do this anymore, guys. Finally, I stopped. My gynecologist that I was seeing, he went on a sabbatical. He quit. And they gave me the option to see another provider, and I didn't want to. So finally, guys, just last year, I decided that I'm going to take back my life. 50, 55 pounds heavier, still bleeding. Like, I get so depressed when it's that time of the month. Like, literally depressed. didn't want to go nowhere because I feel like I didn't look like myself anymore. Finally, I went to see another gynecologist.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at my records and he saw because they can go back and they can see every time I went to the doctor, my weight was between 2 to 7 pounds heavier. And so when I went in there and I was explaining to him, like,
Mm-hmm.
look at me, I'm not myself anymore. And then I'm bleeding and I'm having excruciating pain. I'm tired of this. I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened, guys. He listened to me. And I will say, though, he still gave me 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
He says we can go in and we can do a myomectomy, but that's not going to stop your cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to basically clean you out. It's going to take away those fibroids. It's a outpatient surgery, and you're still going to have a cycle, but hopefully that's going to make it less painful. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Why you in there? Just get it all.
Period. I'm like, hopefully, maybe it might. I'm not gonna do that, risking that it may not work. I'm not attached to my cycle, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having that thing since I was 10 years old. I am not attached to it, and I am not trying to have any more kids. I was like, I respectfully declined that option. So my gynecologist was so wonderful, guys. He was able to write it up. Because again, I have a high pain tolerance, so I still never miss work. I took my iron pills because I always was low on energy, so my iron still wasn't that low. The normal iron range for men and women is between 14 and 16. Mine was like a 12, 11 or 12, so it wasn't significantly low. But he was able to write it up to where the insurance company approved it with all my history of from 2015 until now. It was a lot, guys, and I just want you to know that take control of your healthcare. Don't let anybody look at you and think that you're textbook. You know what's going on with yourself and fight for that. Because had I known, I would have fought for this way earlier.
Yes. So my story goes back to 2009, y'all. My experience was different. I feel like whenever I started having problems, I probably was about 16. I've always had some kind of reproductive problem. You know, the doctors told me, period, that I wasn't gonna be able to have kids. In 2009, what happened was I had started having really, really heavy periods. It was like I was having to put diapers on. Just afraid to go anywhere because you don't want to go nowhere and mess up on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I went ahead and was able to get my hysterectomy is because my symptoms was a sudden onset, and that the fibroids has gotten so big that the fibroids was weighing on my uterus and weighing it down towards my vagina. So that made it hard to walk, you know, because it's like carrying around a baby that head had dropped. You know what I'm saying? So it was really, really, really uncomfortable. I knew they gave me the option to do different things like that because I was so young. But I told them, I said, my bread basket would never bake another piece of bread ever. So y'all gonna take this out of me. He was like, I don't know if insurance, I don't care if insurance gonna cover it or not. Y'all finna get ready to take this here because I cannot live like this. You know, it was like you said, Tasha, nights you awake and on that heating pad. You like, Lord,
Yeah.
what in the world? Like, so I think it's one of those things where some doctors overtreat, but most of them undertreat.
Yeah.
There was a doctor in Virginia that was giving hysterectomies for any complaint, but he was only doing it to Black women. And couldn't find out that he was calling himself trying to be the savior of the world, the number of Black people that was being produced. But all in all, I will say that I feel like they should put more research into this. Not knowing what caused fibroids, that's just piss poor for me. Like, why you ain't been able to get a study together yet with a number of women that's had hysterectomies and myomectomies that y'all can't come up with concrete factors that cause fibroids? Just think about it.
Well, I feel that the reason that I feel like they're not taking a serious stance on it is because it's more men that are treating women.
Mm-hmm.
Men are the ones who made birth control pills.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not enough women researchers out there that are really searching to find out, what is the cause of this? Is there anything that we can do to prevent it? But I do know that there is a hereditary, guys, if you weren't aware of that, there's a hereditary stance to having fibroids or having had hysterectomies. Because I don't have the privilege of my mother and my grandmother, but all of my grandmother's sisters, which is my mother's aunties, they are still living. And so I was able to reach out to one of my aunties, great aunties, when I was getting ready to have the surgery. And she did tell me that runs in our family. I didn't even know that, though, until I was getting ready to have surgery, guys. I was 44.
And I had always got on you about your history and stuff, especially whenever I started looking up mine back in 2010, because the whole experience with the fibroids made me want to go back and search in my family and write all this stuff down so my daughter will know what her risks are gonna be.
Yeah, I made sure.
I remember you used to say, "Girl, I don't want to know about that." But it's very important. People don't realize how important your history is. Like, everybody should go back and look at, if your mom and dad isn't alive, go back and look at what they died of. And then you can go to ancestry.com. Every death certificate is up there after about a year, I think. So you can go down and look at everybody and see what they died of. And just know your history, guys. That I can't say that enough. It's two things that I've been preaching since I've been working with Now Included, is being your own advocate. You had to add the per food, and say that you want some treatment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And know your history. That's very, very, very important. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, guys, know your history and also fight for yourself. Just because a doctor gives you their suggested medical form of treatment doesn't mean that that's what you have to go to. This is what I do now. Ever since I have had my procedure, because I did have a partial hysterectomy, guys. I didn't say I had a partial hysterectomy in August of last year by way of laparoscopic surgery. I kept my ovaries. They were fine. Of course, the gynecologist did warn me, if he went in and it didn't look as well as it did on an ultrasound, then the options would have had to be different, but they were fine. My ovaries were fine, so I kept my ovaries. So I don't have any problems, no lubrication problems, no hot flashes.
I haven't had any of that, honey. I don't know what people be talking about.
Yeah, so I haven't had
They said years later that you gonna have a lower sex drive. It ain't happened to me yet.
Well, I'm not a year out yet, so but I am still going to go through menopause naturally, at whatever age I'm gonna go through it. Right now, I haven't had any issues. with hot flashes or mood disturbances or anything. I haven't had any problems since I've had the surgery. So yeah, just even though I did have my ovaries, you do still have a recovery period of approximately a year, just for your body to get settled. You're not producing those eggs anymore. You're not having that monthly cycle, and your body knows that you should be, So it's still taking me a little while. Excuse me, not while, but longer than what I thought it was to restart my fitness journey as far as it actually coming off. You can start it at any time, but the way it actually coming off it's taking a little while. But that's okay, because I don't have the stress of having to have a cycle every month and having that pain.
And see this moon face and how the prednisone done blew this.
Right, exactly. Steroids, yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, honey. I said I was looking at myself in the mirror about a week ago. It's gone down some.
It
About
has.
a week ago, I looked in the mirror and was like, I said, I look like a whole blowfish about the face.
That's what I feel like, guys, right now. But like I said, my life, my quality of life, even though I had to go through a lot, my quality of life, it's worth it. Do I have a closet full of clothes that I cannot fit? I do. Do I get depressed about it sometimes? I do. But it's okay, because I'm healthy now. And I know that this journey is I'm restarting my journey again, and I'm okay with that. And I want you to be too, guys, if you have, any problems or issues.
Yes, honey. I'm getting ready to get back on my fitness journey because I got on that scale. I had a nurse that came through from the insurance company. I stepped on that scale.
Excuse me, guys.
I stepped on that scale, Lord Jesus. I was like, fix it, Jesus.
Tell me about it.
I saw that scale number. I was like, where did all that come from that quick?
Right.
Niecy. I said, no. I said, I wasn't going to never get back over my highs weight.
Right. Yeah.
But whenever I saw I was 10 pounds from it, I was like, okay, girl, it's really time to get serious.
It's crunch time, right?
I didn't want to look like I did on my 40th birthday because I felt like I lost too much weight. Partly because I was already sick with sarcoidosis and didn't know it. But I want to be down to where I'm comfortable. I like my curves over being skinny. So it's like if I get down to a comfortable 175, I'll be good.
Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth right now. Don't judge me. I want to get back to as fit as I was when my dad passed. Remember, I want to get back down to as fit as I was, guys. And of course, I don't want my face to be this full. But
you like down to a size 4, won't you?
I was a 6.
6
because of the don't. But guys, I'm gonna tell y'all because I know my face is gonna look weird. Okay, I'm gonna get me some fillers.
Fillers and what and why?
Because my face is gonna look weird now. You ain't seen my face that small I'll go ahead and say like 4 years. So when it gets that, you know how y'all had a fit when my face first got real tiny. So I'm gonna give you some fillers, y'all.
So what you saying? You feel like you think you're gonna look old when you lose the weight?
No, I feel like right here where it's real full at, because I normally have fat cheeks anyway. I feel like I'm gonna have jowls. JOWLS. So
girl, I feel like you better get one of them J rollers and keep your face rolled up. Like I do.
So I feel like I'm gonna get me some fillers right here once I lose the definition in my face. And
don't ask me to take you to that appointment because
you still have to come with me to get my boob job. Because
I'll come with you for that. I'll take care of you for that.
Yeah.
But not to get no dirty fillers. No.
Girl, you know the dermatology office right across the street from my clinic, honey. From me and your husband clinic, honey.
Oh, okay.
It's right. I can walk right over there and get juke.
You need to use that filter that's on Instagram that shows you what too much fillers and Botox look like. You
I
like,
need
oh,
to learn
heck
how. I'm
no.
gonna have to come to your house because I need to learn how to work Instagram. I'm such a novice, guys. I don't have social media. I am such a novice. But I have enjoyed this discussion.
Like it's one that a lot of women want to have, and if you're, like I said, if you're interested in telling your story, let me know. There are monetary benefits to telling me your story. So please make sure you join Now Included. If you look down in the description, you'll see my link tree. And on my link tree, I have the link to Now Included.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have the link to my community over there, the reality of healthcare. And I want that to be a community that everybody feel like is a safe space where they can go and talk about what's going on with them, and people not coming for them because I'm not going to allow it over there. If you coming over there to, the judge of the
Bash somebody, yeah.
stay out.
Yeah.
We trying to do a safe place for people to come over and talk about their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what the community is all about.
Yeah.
And we could go on and on with this subject, because I kind of just brazed over mine. But I forgot to tell you, whenever they took my uterus out, they had to end up going ahead and giving me a bikini cut like I was having a baby, because they didn't realize that my uterus was that heavy, and they couldn't get it out the little hole that they started. So they had to go ahead and open me up like I was getting a C-section. And pulled it out, and I got a picture of it somewhere, because I was definitely gonna show y'all today how big my uterus was. But I can't find it. Hopefully I can find that picture and I'll post it over in Now Included in the community. Stop being ashamed, ladies. A lot of women are going through this. And we're trying to put more attention on it because they need to pass this bill in Congress so they can get some more funding, so they can research this and tell me why. I can't believe that what number of people that's getting them, that they can't put lab reports together or nothing and try to come up for a reason with this. Because one time they were blaming relapses and
Yeah.
up for it, so
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. It just seems like a lot of times when it comes to female reproductive health, it's not looked at as the same as males, because males, they can't have no erection. What they do, find them a boner pill. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. So does anybody else have any questions or have anything to say? I am going to drop the link if anybody has anything to say. We're going to be on for probably about 5 more minutes. Let me drop the link. And you can come on if you want to ask a question, or if you want to tell your story right quick. Be more than welcome to click on the link and come on. And tell the story.
You'd be surprised, guys, at how many women have this problem. I'm gonna tell you when mine started. I was actually at the gym. I was working out, and I was on my cycle, and I had got this excruciating pain that I had never felt before. And again, I was in my mid-30s. I had never had any pain like that before, and it was so excruciating. I called Niecy, and I said, "Hey, I feel like I might have an ectopic pregnancy." because because I had my tubes tied, but the pain was just so excruciating. She was like, "Girl, what?" And I was like, "This pain is crazy." She was like, "Well, did you take a pregnancy test?" And I was like, "No, I'm scared because I don't know what's wrong with me." So, of course, I did not have an ectopic pregnancy, but just to reiterate, guys, that this can happen at, this can happen at any stage of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't know. And even if you're going to a specialist, still fight for yourself, do your own research, you know, and just let them know what your family history is so they can treat you adequately.
Right. And family history is another thing that's very, very important to insurance companies because they want to see that you're at high risk and stuff like that. So insurance companies are even, looking at family history more and determining whether or not you can go ahead and get this testing earlier or not because of your family history.
Right.
So get your family history together, y'all. Write it down. Like I got a white Bible. Like I be putting a lot of stuff in there, and I plan on handing that down. So just little stuff, I got my stuff on Ancestry. I got all that stuff saved, you know. I
Yeah.
need to add my nephew and niece because they came so quick. I ain't been able to add them yet.
Yeah.
The
And I've
last two babies.
and I've and I've made sure to let my daughter know what's, I let her know every step of the way what's going on with me because she's fortunate to have me longer than I had my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but sometimes the conversation might be a little uncomfortable. Which is crazy, guys. I had a better sexual history. I don't know. I don't want to say sexual, reproductive. Had a better reproductive history conversation with my paternal grandmother, Niecy's mother-in-law, than I did with my own mom who was young. So you would think that the younger your parent is, the more comfortable they would be, but actually it was the opposite.
Honey,
So.
this lady right here, whenever her and Gint, whenever my period came on, they were like, Lord, Jesus, this girl don't got her period. Like, instead of explaining to me what periods were and what was happening to my body, they, oh Lord, what I'm gonna do? I'm curious for it. I'm like, what y'all gonna do? I'm thinking I'm dying,
Right, yeah. And so mine was a complete opposite because, like I said, my mom didn't know what was going on because she didn't know that girls my age could have it. So she took me to the doctor, and she was a bit more standoffish. If I'm going to be completely honest, she thought that I maybe had probably, dibbled and dabbled with some boys.
STD.
No, just virginity broken. Because,
Okay.
But during that time we were living in Washington, D.C., I finished my 4th grade year up in D.C. And then when I came back home here in Goldsboro for the summer to stay with my dad is when my paternal grandmother found out I was menstruating. And she was like, "Oh, baby," she was like, "The sanitary napkins are here, and you make sure that you wrap them up nice and neat and put them in the trash can and make sure that, they're not in the open. And if the trash can gets full, you tie it up and you throw it away and you put it in the bag again. Make sure you stay clean." My paternal grandmother, she hooked me up, let me know everything. Always stay clean, have an extra pair of panties, like all that good stuff.
I
So
told
I was
myself,
fortunate.
because they added such foods. I told myself, wait till my nieces get to this age. I'm taking over this responsibility of telling
Right.
about their sexual health and reproductive health.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so my nieces, all of them, you know, I try to give them their little pads and chocolate and all that stuff whenever it gets
Mhm.
bad.
Yep.
Cause they acted like two nuts whenever I started my period. I was like, Lord, what? I mean, like, I was so confused. Like,
How old were you?
I think I was like 11 or 12.
Okay.
And I was confused. Like, why they keep saying like something happening to them? Like, Lord, I can't believe this. What I'm gonna do? And I'm like, I'm not gonna bleeding. Am I dying? Tell me what's going on. Like,
Right.
ooh, I ain't had sex yet, but I'm like, am I pregnant? What y'all mad about? But yeah, honey. So that's a whole nother conversation in how the Black community teach reproductive health. You know,
Yes.
that's a whole nother life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, Niecy, thank you so much for having me on this platform.
Thank
My phone is
you.
about to die, so I'm gonna go ahead and bow out gracefully.
Thank you so much for coming on, and
My
you ended
pleasure.
right where I wanted to end it.
All right.
All right, y'all. We're gonna sign on out. If I can get to my branding, I'm never ready. Make sure you go join now. Included is in the description of the video, and it's in my link tree for ETEAUNCUT@gmail.com. Is my email. So I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for staying over here and talking with us. And if you have an experience you want to share in the future, please let me know, and I will we can get together in the inbox. And like I said, I do have compensation for your time if you're interested in telling your story. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.